Sometimes I get asked by people to record it, so now it's just as good as any to give it a shot. I haven't done a recording in a long time. So let's go ahead and find our way to our seat, our position to start in, our mountain pose at the chair. Move this slightly so that I can see you guys without having to turn my head. There we go. Okay, so scooch out toward the edge of your seat, sit up tall. Try to line your knees above your ankles. You might move your toes around, your feet back and forth, and try to tune into those sensations in your feet. As you start to close your eyes and settle in, noticing other aspects of the way your physical body feels right now. Sometimes we kind of tend to rush around and ignore our bodies, so just spend a few moments seeing how you feel. And if you find that you're uncomfortable in a way that you could do something about, like a shift in position or anything else, then go ahead and do that. Notice if you're tense in your shoulders or your neck, and maybe move those a little bit. Just in whatever way that feels nice. And then find a few moments of stillness where you just check in with yourself, gently asking yourself how you're doing right here, right now. Observing your body and your breathing and your mental activity, just to see what's up. All right. And let's start with a little breathing exercise. So let's do breath lengthening. So that's the one where we're going to inhale to a count, probably around 3 or 4 to start with. And then when we exhale, we drag it out even slower so that it's like 4 or 5. And then as time goes on, we get sort of even slower and slower. Just emphasizing that our exhales are longer than our inhales. So here we go. I'll do an example one. You can go at my pace or yours. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And trying it on your own pace for a few rounds. Just counting silently to yourself. Whatever your pace is, whatever your number is, doesn't matter so much, just that you remember that those exhales stay longer, more drawn out than the inhales. Maybe one more. And then let it go. So let's start to move, shrugging your shoulders up toward your ears. Oh, squeeze them together behind you and then slide them down. A couple rounds like that. Making big circles. And then take it the other way. They kind of go up and over down the front. Lovely. Okay, straighten them all back up and then inhale, reach your hands up toward the sky. Once you get up there, flip your palms and then exhale, reach back down to the earth. Back and forth a couple of times. Really extending through your fingertips in all directions. We go ahead and hang on to one side of your chair and then reach up and over with the other hand. And reaching through the fingertips to really accentuate that stretch in the side. That's what we're going for. Exhale, try it the other way. Inhale back to center. Exhale the other way. Your pace. This is always an exploration of what this movement feels like in your body at this moment on this day. All right. Center yourself back up. Let's try some cat-cows. So sliding your hands down your knees and rounding your back, tucking your chin. That's the cat back. And then the opposite. So the hands slide back, the elbows tucked toward each other. You got a little bit of a lift in your chest. You can even look up a little bit. Exhale, round. Inhale back forward again. Maybe once more in each position. Lovely. Okay. Send yourself back up. Let's twist a little bit. Inhale, reach to the sky. So exhale, pretend like you're pulling down on a bar and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Bring the elbows to about shoulder height and then combine that with a little twist over here to the left. Inhale, center back up, reach to the sky. Exhale, elbows at shoulder height, twist to the right. So back and forth a few times in your pace. Trying to keep the action all in the upper body. Your legs will kind of want to go with you, but try to keep them still. Trying your best to extend and reach. Okay, one more. Let it go. Okay, so let's do our sun salutation. You can stay exactly where you are. I'm just switching up my position so that you can see a little bit better. All right, check your wingspan, make sure you have enough room. So back to that mountain pose that we started in, and then we're going to adjust it a little bit. So inch the toes forward just a smidge, and then take the feet apart from each other just a little bit. Make sure you're still kind of out toward the edge of your seat and that you feel strong in your feet, because we're going to go out over the legs. And we have options when we do this. So if you have any issues with blood pressure, get kind of woozy when you go down, I would either not go very low or keep your hands on your legs when you do this. And as we head out, making sure you feel nice and steady. The other option is to inhale, sweep the arms up, and then exhale, bring them to shoulder height and pretend to kind of swan dive forward like you're on a diving board. So either way is fine. With your exhale, end up so where you're stretching yourself out over those legs, rounding your back, letting yourself hang a little bit. You can reach down toward the floor if you want. Inhale, flatten and lengthen yourself back out, like you're pulling yourself through the crown of your head. Exhale, round again. A couple more like that. When you're ready, coming on back up, either using your hands to help you or kind of reversing that swan dive, reaching skyward. Let's get ready to hug in this right leg. Give a little squeeze. So rounding your back, tucking your chin. We'll use that same cat-cow move that we did earlier, but here, holding our leg. Take the chest up toward the sky. Exhale, round. So if it's not possible for you to grab your leg like this, I would use whatever you have laying around, an old towel, a tie, to give yourself a little lasso hold your leg up off the floor as high as it'll go. Or if you also have some books or something around that you can prop your foot up on, that version works too. Okay. So here in a moment, letting your spine go tall once more. Go ahead and flex this right foot. We're going to extend the right leg out in front of us, this is a strengthening position. We're trying to hold here, lift the chest. You might feel this in your abs and then this quad over here. Strong, strong, strong. Pressing through your heel. Trying to sit up tall. And just when your muscles are starting to get tired, try to take this right leg out over to the right a little bit. Holding and then slowly bring it on back in. Okay, put it back down on the earth. Slide your hands along your thighs and lift your chest. Just take a little stretch. And release. Okay, whole spine. Let's just inhale and reach skyward for a moment, like a little palate cleanser movement between sides, and then we'll hug this left leg in. So cat cow on your spine once more, tucking toward that leg, and then lifting the chest, hugging your belly in tight against the leg. Or and maybe one more. And sitting up tall. Flex this left foot while you're going to extend that leg out in front of us. Trying to sit up tall and just hold here for a few moments. Reaching through your heel, trying to be strong in the leg. And then here in the last few moments, take it out over to the left. Okay. Back into the center. Place it back down on the floor. Slide your hands along the thighs. Lifting your chest, arching the back. And release. So we're going to go back down and do that back stretch where we're leaned out over the legs. This time I'm going to model what it would look like if you were trying to be really careful with blood pressure or feeling dizzy down. So I'm not going to go down very far. You do your version of the pose. I gave you the options earlier. You know what they are. So if I were working with blood pressure issues, I would inhale, reach to the sky, exhale, hands out here on my thighs, and I would just lean forward a little bit and try to round my spine, be a little bit heavy. Inhale, lengthen and flatten back out. Exhale, round. So the same goes if you've been told not to forward fold by, a doctor or physical therapist for any reason. This is kind of what you can do whenever we're doing these back exercises as part of our sun salutation. Okay, wherever you're at with this, maybe one more. And then as you're ready, inhale, come on back at reaching skyward one more time. And then hands down to the heart. All right, lovely. So let's stand up for a few moments. Let's do a little bit of leg strengthening and then see where it takes us. So we're going to do our one where we're going back and forth between chair pose and palm tree pose. So when we do this one, we're playing around with shifting our weight back and forth between the heels and the toes. So when we're in chair pose, our weight's back here in the heels. And when we're in palm tree pose, our weight's going to come up on our tippy toes. We're even going to come up into our tippy toes. So you can play around a little bit with that already right here, hanging on the back of the chair, seeing what your balance feels like today. How wobbly you are in your legs. How tired your muscles might be if not. And then let's start to get into some of the work of this. So for chair pose, I like to do it with my feet a little bit apart. Some people like to do it with their legs zipped up together like this. This is how I kind of do it. So play around to see which one works better for you. I've got my legs a little bit apart, and then I'm going to drop my weight down into my heels and sit my bottom back toward the floor. Like there's a chair back there that's just out of reach. Okay. So starting with, take this left hand, hover it down by your side. We'll hang on with the right hand at first. And then here we go. Shifting our weight into those toes, reaching up toward the sky with our left hand. This is our palm tree pose. Exhale, sit back, chair. So a couple of times like that, going back and forth between those two. Paying attention to how the movement changes in your body when you shift your weight back and forth. Okay, maybe one more and then we'll switch sides. The next time you're in that chair pose, meet me there. Holding for a couple of breaths. Maybe let go with that right hand, bring it down by your hip. Switch it out, left hand comes by the back of the chair. Here we go. Inhale, reach skyward. Exhale, sit back, chair pose. Inhale, up on the tippy toes, reach skyward. A few more times on your pace. All right. So here in a moment, when you're next in that palm tree pose, let's hold that this time for 3 or 4 breaths. So up on your tippy toes. And then maybe start to hover your hands. Maybe they join up here up top, or maybe they come to the hips, wherever you feel comfortable. Heart. I've got my focus out in the middle of the distance. That's where I'm staring to help me balance. Hands back on the back of the chair and come back down to earth. All right, lovely. So let's do a little bit of tree pose. Speaking of balance, let's do a little bit more balance. So turning to one side so that one hip is close to the back of the chair. Take this other leg and kind of rotate it in the socket. A few times one way and then the other way. In the hip socket, that is. Okay. Then as you're ready, sort of take the knee out to the side, like kind of opening a book up. And you've got options. The toes can stay down on the earth. You can bring your foot up on your shin, or the foot can go really, really high on your thigh. The only thing I don't want you to do is press on your knee there in the middle. Wherever you want to land. Find that focal point out far in the distance, maybe a boring spot on the wall or a light switch to stare at. And then start to hover your hands. Watch your ankles start to dance. That's where the magic is happening. Building some of those little muscles in our feet and ankle that can get neglected and are very important for balance. And then eventually decide where your hands want to go. So maybe the hips, the heart, or maybe they want to be little tree branches growing around, swaying around in the sky somewhere. You find your spot. All right, so take your hand back to the back of the chair, and we're going to try to take this big sumo wrestler step out to the side. So make sure you don't have anything in the way. I kind of do, so let me hop over a little bit. Okay, so checking our landing pad, try to take a big step over to the side, and then star pose. Reach yourself up, extend in all directions, like there's energy coming out of your head, out of your fingertips, out of your feet. Make yourself big and energetic. Lovely. Okay, step it back in. Let's try that on the other side. So, finding our tree pose over here. First, step by step, moving that hip socket around a little bit. And then the other way. Maybe opening the knee out to the side and then toes on the floor. foot on your shin or up on your thigh. I'll keep my toes on the floor over here on this side. Find your focus out there in the distance, and then start to hover your hands, decide where they want to land, where they feel most comfortable, where you feel like your ankle and your balance are still challenged, but you're not unsteady. Last couple of moments here. All right, let that hand come back down to the chair just as a little bit of a safety net. And then we're going to try to take a big step over here to the other side this time. Sumo wrestler step, and then extend yourself all directions. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And let it go. Okay. So let's come back down to the seat and stretch our muscles in the lower body back out. So scooching out toward the edge of your seat once more. Let's start with the right leg. Toes up to the sky, leg extended, tall spine, and then we're hinging out forward over that leg until you feel stretchy sensation back here in the back of it. So in order to do that, you may have to play around a little bit. We're all kind of anatomically different. So maybe it's that you need to press through your heels some more. Maybe the toes need to lift some more. Or maybe it's more like this action at the hips needs to be really accentuated, like you're really, coming forward, a little bit of a lift in your chest, and like you're placing your belly down on your thighs. All of that are little things you can fiddle with until you get it just right. Last couple of moments. Come on back up. Let's try that on the other leg. Left leg, toes up, hinging forward till you feel stretch. Letting that sense of stretch feeling be your guide. There's no sense in trying to make your body look like a particular shape. It's more about trying to find a feeling and noticing when you've got it. Come on back up. So let's cross the right leg over with the foot flexed. So if you can't get your leg up this high, another option is to have this bottom leg extended and cross down at whatever height works for you. If you're here, we're trying to find stretch in this outside hip. So if you don't feel that already, then hinge forward a little bit until you do. Most of us are tight in this area, so it may not take very much. Breathing. Come on back up. Let's try that on the other leg. Move forward. So on this side, I'll model the other version. So crossing down a little bit lower and then hinging forward until you feel a little stretch over here on the outside of your hip. Come on back up. Go ahead and grab the back of your chair or interlace your fingers back there. Bend your elbows, maybe lean back a little bit, and then straighten them and lift your chest. So we want to feel stretchy sensation all across the shoulders, all across kind of like area where your collarbone is. This is a great stretch to do to kind of counteract all of that forward bending motion that we tend to do in the way we live. So like when we're reading or using a computer or even driving, a lot of times we're hunched forward. And take everything in the opposite way to kind of help balance yourself back out from that repetitive movement. Last couple of moments. All right, let it go. And then find your way back to our mountain pose at the chair. So the feet on the floor, the tall spine. Let's do a mountain meditation while we're here. It's the same idea reflected in the pose. See if you can imagine being a mountain. So where your feet and even your seat are, that's like the roots of the mountain, the base of the mountain, the big, wide, solid foundation that reaches far into the earth's crust. That's your steady, stable core. And then you can spend a little time imagining what the rest of your mountain looks like. Do you have some lofty, clouded peaks here at the top? Is there snow? Are there some sheer rock face cliffs and some alpine meadows? Imagine your body as a mountain. And once you have this image in your mind, see if you can play around for a few moments with the idea that you are like this mountain, remaining basically, essentially unchanged as the weather goes by, as the sun rises and sets. The ice melts and then freezes back over. Storms come and go. Things change in your surroundings, but basically here at your core, you are like the mountain, remaining unchanged. Solid in your foundation. So letting that image drift away. Try to tune back into the senses in the room here in the present. Maybe move your feet around, slide your hands on your legs, notice smells and sounds. And kind of let your eyes be the last things that come back open. And then whenever you're ready, opening your eyes and taking one more big inhale together, sweeping our arms up overhead, palms meet, and then the exhale brings them down to your heart. So thank you so much for being here today. And I hope you have
Amy.
the rest of your week. You're welcome.
Thank you, Amy.
No problem.